Welcome back to Beaver Sports Talk on the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Great to have you with us. The Dutch Bros Sports Line available toll-free at 877-600-6433, 877-600-6433. McMenamin's on Monroe every Tuesday night, 7:05 to 8 o'clock. Our thanks to Coach Wagner for joining us. Good luck to the OSU women's basketball team Friday night against Arizona. And we, of course, are happy to welcome next to the show OSU men's basketball assistant coach Jeff Reinert, pinch hitting for Coach John, who's out on the recruiting trail tonight. We fully respect that and how important that is. So, Jeff, thanks for coming in here tonight. Good evening, Coach.
No problem.
And you have the all-important scouting report on the next opponent, which is another edition of the Civil War presented by your Northwest Dodge dealers this Saturday in Eugene against Oregon, a 3:07 tip. But before we get to that, let's talk about the weekend past. And just as we head down the stretch of this regular season, one more game before your own conference tournament, you guys have, since the L.A. trip, a lot of good things have happened. I don't know if that was a point where there was a bit of soul-searching, regrouping, but whatever happened after that, Jeff, you guys have played a lot of good hoop. It would have been wonderful to get over the hump with a reward and a sweep against Washington State. But do you like the direction now since that experience in the Southland where you've come back and really played some good basketball?
Well, I do. I think there's a couple of things that are happening. I think Josh Tarver is playing some of his best basketball he's played. And in the Pac-10, when you play the freshman point guard, Josh would be the first one to tell you that he would have liked to have played better throughout the year than he's played. And he hasn't played bad, but at this league, you better play really good at the point guard spot. And I think that he's playing his best basketball of the season right now. Also, Wesley Washington now is, playing like we thought he would when he came into our program a year and a half ago. I just think that he is, right now, defensively, he gives us some leadership, which he wasn't doing that before, and toughness. And he's also knocking down some open jump shots, which, he hasn't been able to do all season long. So, our guard play is so much better now. Mm-hmm. And then from the L.A. weekend, we finally got back in a rhythm of a starting lineup and how we're subbing and things like that. And Chuich is in the starting lineup now, and he gives us that threat to score. And they have to guard him from the perimeter, which opens up lanes for Washington and Tarver to drive and do some things that way. So, I think we're playing really well. We had a great weekend this past weekend. We're very disappointed in losing to Washington State. But we did beat a very good Washington team that was, supposed to make an NCAA tournament, and we're making a run at it. And I thought we did a very, very nice job of limiting them and shutting down, their guard play pretty much and not letting Appleby hit shots, because Appleby was the difference maker. He's the guy that can hit multiple shots and get them over the hump. And we controlled enough of Haas and Brockman, did a lot better job on Brockman than we did in the first time. I thought Chuich did a really good job on Brockman. Well, in the first game, he did not. He kind of got worked. And so right now as a team, I think they're feeling pretty confident, and going down to Matt Court is going to be difficult. I mean, there's no doubt. But, this is the game I love the best. I love when we play Oregon. That's for me as a coach, that's the reason why I'm in it. And I love the competition of going down to Matt Court, which I think is one of the toughest places to play, if not the toughest place to play, and going in there and trying to get a win. And we've been close, out of the years that we've been here, we've been close. We were close last year and the year before, and so we're knocking on the door, and I think what Coach John said, I wasn't at the press conference, but I know when we left the coaches meeting, he goes, we are not that far away. We are not that far away. We lost to a ninth-rated team, and we were right there.
And Washington State, and I think maybe for some, because of the years of struggle and frustration that they've had, and they were 11-17 last year, and they were picked 10th this year, that maybe it's hard for people to fully accept or believe that they are the number 9 team in the country, and they really are that good. They are. They're legit, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, they're very good. They can score at every position. That's what's so unique about them. And, when they have guys that can step away, they're big guys and shoot and drive off, to penetrate off the dribble and do things like that, they're dangerous. And, they can shoot the ball. And every guy can shoot the ball, and that makes them special. And, look at Washington State. Oregon State definitely can be that. And we're disappointed the way the year's gone, and we're fighting and driving to improve our program.
Jeff Reinert joining us tonight, pinch hitting for Coach John. If you have any questions or comments along the way this evening on Beaver Sports Talk, toll free, the Dutch Bros Sports Line, 877-600-6433, 877-600-6433. Coach, I do have to ask you about, and this is maybe what can separate a team having a great year such as Washington State from others that are trying to get over the hump. They're a resourceful team in that on a day when you did a great job against a lot of their usual scores, here comes a big kid that no one's really ever heard of in Aaron Baines, who made a huge difference down the stretch.
You know, Aaron Baines was a player that Brian Lloyd had recruited and had gone to Australia to see him and try to get him to come to Oregon State. The difference was, I think we would have had a great chance to get him, but one of their assistants played in Australia and knew the kid when he was young. And so, but Aaron Baines is a good player and did a really good job against our best defender. I mean, Kyle Jeffers is our best defender, and Kyle will be the first one to tell you that Aaron Baines got the best of him. But a couple of things that happened before that, they had some penetration and kicked it to Cal Gill, and Cal Gill hits 2 shots, and that got them going. Then allowed Baines and put Baines in a position to do some good things. And we just could not control that young man when he got going. He's big and strong, but, you know, he kind of came out of nowhere on us, and we did a really good job on everybody else. And Baines came off the bench and did a nice job for him.
We'll take a break. If you have any questions or comments for Coach Reinert tonight, give us a call, toll-free, 877-600-6433. Still to come, Daniel Ramore from the OSU cross-country team, this week's everyday champion. We'll take a break. More coming up. Beaver Sports Talk on the Beaver Sports Radio Network.
Okay, got another T-shirt to give away. Last prize of the night. Here we go. Ticket number 2773, 2773. Another T-shirt.
Welcome back to Beaver Sports Talk from McMenamins on Monroe on the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Our Dutch Bros Sports Line available toll-free, 877-600-6433. And listening tonight on our flagship station in Portland, 1190 KEX, we welcome Don to Beaver Sports Talk for Coach Reinert. Good evening, Don. Go ahead.
Yeah, howdy, Coach. I agree with you. It's been a disappointing season. 3 wins is 3 conference wins is one less than the team had the year before you took over 5 years ago. But I have a couple of questions on the off-season conditioning. Do you plan to have the players do some more running in the off-season so they'll be stronger at the end of games. Also, what can they do in the off season to improve their free throw shooting, which was worse in the conference, and also rebounding, which was worse in the conference? Have you ever considered giving the bigs a jump rope and have them jump rope 15 minutes a day so they can jump for a rebound instead of standing flat-footed?
Hey, Don, I appreciate the questions. And there's several things that you're talking about, and obviously things that we want to address in the off season. I think hard in practice to improve that, and I think we have over the last couple of games until the last game. We were shooting, I think, 76%
over the last 5 games.
Over the last 5 games, and we had done a better job than that. I think if you look at our three-point shooting percentage, overall, we're just not a very good three-point shooting team. That's something that, not through lack of effort, I think Josh Tarver, who's shooting 23% for the year, I think if you walked into Gill Coliseum, you see him shooting. I think it's just more of an experience factor for him, the reason why he's not making his shots. Chewich's percentages have continued to go up as the season's gone on. Marcel's not a great three-point shooter and has shot quite a few. So, and then you talk about free throws. When you're not a great three-point shooting team, often your free throws aren't very good. But we've worked pretty hard on that, and we thought long and hard about what things we're going to ask our players to do in the offseason in regards to free throws, and that means shoot a lot of them. I think that's number one. Conditioning is, I think, the thing that happens when you lose close games or people hit shots on you, your energy goes down. And I think that's what's happened with this team at times when they play great defense and they hit a shot and you come down and you can't hit one. It just becomes a cycle. And I think that we've done a better job the second half of the year of fighting through those things. And I think our energy does get better. But, overall, I think we're in the off season. We're going to go on a foreign tour. And I think that's really helped teams. It helped Oregon get off to an 18-1 start. They went down to the Bahamas. And we're going to go on a foreign tour, and we're going to take the core of this team and really get away with them. We can practice 10 days prior to the trip, and we're going to go on a 14-day tour. And so that gives us almost a full month with them, and then we'll come back. And then on September 15th is the first day that we can actually be together with our basketball team. So it's going to be a good off season for us. We're excited about that, and we're excited about the future of this program.
Jeff, when Don talks about something that we've seen in movies, we've seen people go through the jump rope activity in terms of trying to improve the repeat jumping ability. Mm-hmm. Jay has talked about the guys' inability to repeat jump, just almost pogo stick. Does the jump rope technique help in that? I mean, that Don talks about.
Yeah, I think it does. I think Don's on the right path with that. Anything that requires jumping is good. Brendan Ziegler, who does our conditioning in the summer, does a great job. It'll be actually his first full time with them, and I think we're going to get great benefits out of that. But we worked. C.J. Giles, we've worked pretty hard on his repeat jump. It's pretty good. And when you get players that have the innate ability to jump coming into your program, it's better. And I think you're seeing better and better athletes come into our program. And, you take a look at Lathan Wallace, who will be a player for us next year. Calvin Haynes, who's a big-time athlete in prep school right now. And, you talk about Giles. You're talking about some major athletes coming into the program, which are going to really help us in regards to rebounding, defending, and they're good shooters too. So all that's going to benefit for us. And you'll see our percentages change. Josh Tarver's 23% this year. I'll be surprised if he's not over 35 next year.
We'll take a final break with Coach Reinert and one last segment with Jeff before we visit with Daniel Rumore from the OSU cross-country team. Back with more with Coach Reinert after this on the Beaver Sports Radio Network. Here we go. Last couple of minutes with Coach Reinert tonight with another edition of the Civil War coming up. Our everyday champion will join us here in a few moments. And, Coach, you say you love the rivalry. You love the intensity and the atmosphere. You're going to try to go down and get one in Eugene. You almost got him here. It's a game that I didn't get a chance to call because I was still coming back from El Paso. But you led by 11 early. Tell us what you did learn from that game. It's been a long time, but that was a game, again, with a few more free throws. You probably win that basketball game.
And it's kind of how the season has played out for us is that Oregon game, that first game. You know, our ability to make free throws is such and we would have 5 more wins. I mean, you can look down the line how many more wins we'd have. With Oregon, you know, they're a dangerous team because they play 2 guards that are tremendous off the dribble with an on-ball screen, and we're going to have to try to handle that. And we're going to have to handle it in several different ways. We're going to have to defend that. We've talked long and hard and how we're going to handle that, and we will do a good job with that. And we need to have a lead going into the final because they shoot 80% from the free throw line. Their team does. Now, they're not as big as we are. So, you know, if we can get offensive rebounds, if we can pound the ball inside, and we can get to the line multiple times to make up for our percentages, if we don't make free throws, then we have a good chance to win that game. So, it's a battle, it's a rivalry game, and it's going to be a hard-fought, fun game to be in.
The game here, 76-73, back on December 30th in the Pac-10 opener. There was an article in the Register Guard paper today with Ernie Kent talking about going to their 2-3 matchup zone in the second half. Swung the game, in his opinion, against Washington in a high-scoring game, 93-85. Whatever kind of defense they play, with the quick athletes they've got, it can be pretty good. What about that matchup they've been playing?
Well, we've actually, ironically, for a team that does not shoot well, have attacked zones like 2 of our wins are against Arizona State, who play the best zone in the league. I mean, they've done it all year long. They're tremendous at it. But we have morphed into a kind of a motion offense versus the zone, and have played against zones well. We're patient with the ball. The last time when we played Arizona State down there, Wesley Washington made a decision that he was not a great shooter, and that made our team better against the zone. So he's been a penetrator pitch guy and setting people up, and guys have stepped up to make shots when their time has been called. And Chuich is always a dangerous person versus a zone. So teams that have zoned us, I think, ironically, don't want to do it again. I think they'd prefer to pressure us and try to make us maybe pack it in man-to-man and make us shoot from the perimeter, a little bit like Washington State did against us, and so did UCLA. They pack it in with a man-to-man, and teams do a better job than that than playing zone.
And with Oregon on the other side, you talk about the on-ball screen with Aaron Brooks and so on. I mean, it's dangerous to play. I mean, Oregon can get it going. To zone them can be a dangerous proposition, too.
Well, you know, in a lot of ways, it might be the best way to guard them. And they all can shoot, but the problem is when you play man-to-man and Brooks and Porter penetrate and drive, they're hard to guard with an on-ball screen. Plus, Lunen's a pick-and-pop guy, so if you hedge too long and you can't get back, Lunen can hit the shot. So there's a lot of dilemmas with it. But then they have to guard us inside. And, you know, they're playing Lunen at the 5, and if we can get Jeffers and Chuich and Shaftanar and Hampton down low in the box, you know, they may have to go to the bench a little bit more. And so that's the challenge. The big versus the small is basically the story.
Last question for you. You mentioned Rulan Shaftanar. He's been fun to watch grow and develop this year. Jeff, give us a quick thought about your recruitment of him, what you've thought of his year this year, and just what you think the potential is for the big fella.
Well, you know, he's young for his class. You know, he's like 9 months younger than a class than what he should be. He should have been, you know, coming in this next fall. But, you know, he's a very good student. He's our best student on our team. He works very hard. He's an excellent shooter. He's got very good post moves, something that people don't really understand. His ability to shoot has forced us to play him on the perimeter more than we want to because we don't shoot it well from the guard line. So Rulan's on the perimeter more than we would like. But his progression's been good. I don't think that he'll think it was great, and I don't either. I have high expectations for him. There's times that he won't shoot the ball in games, and it hurts us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so the more aggressive that Rulan is with the basketball and shooting and trying to score, the better we are as a basketball team. Because if he can come off the bench and give us 6 to 8 points, boy, that's a big lift for this basketball team.
Jeff, thanks for a great job pinch hitting tonight, Coach. Good
Thanks a
job.
lot.
We'll see you Saturday at MacArthur Court, 2:30 broadcast, 3:07 tip. The Beavers in Oregon in another edition of the Civil War. Speaking of good students, a great student and athlete coming up next on Beaver Sports Talk. Our everyday champion, Daniel Ramore from the OSU cross-country team, coming up on the Beaver Sports Radio Network.
Here's the sound.